Hello everyone, I'm Nasser Ali Afza, and this presentation is a brief account where we would explore what is scientific writing and how it should be approached. The aim is to enable the listener to become a successful scientific writer. The presentation would cite my personal experiences, my own examples from my own publications, and a reflection where the important points will be discussed regarding the one's journey to become a successful scientific writer. So let's start. So the question continues how to write, and here we will focus the introduction of the manuscript. Now this is the foundation of any manuscript. You need to be very much clear about what really you are trying to explore. What are the objectives of your study? And that all has to be decided based on evidence. So introduction or background of the manuscript is the foundation on which you build the entire building. And the question itself should determine, and of course it determines, the methodology adopted, and of course once the method is right, based on the right introduction, the results will be relevant, and then only then the discussion would be meaningful. So this is the most important, I would say, fundamental part of the manuscript, where you determine the need for this particular manuscript and scientifically, um, you know, deduce based on the available literature and reasoning what should be the objectives. So the primary function of this part is to funnel the description from a broader to a more narrower narrative regarding that particular study and the field of study. One has to explain the background, citing only the relevant literature. I mean, I would advise my fellows, I mean, the younger and the newer and the more enthusiastic scientists, the more junior scientists especially, that please don't be over enthusiastic and don't try to indulge in proving your point one way or the other, whether it is actually been proven or not. So just cite the relevant literature. All right, because if you do not cite the relevant literature, the high chances are the reviewers would take this, they would form an opinion about the manuscript itself, that, well, the introduction is not scientifically grounded. That means everything else is actually not really worth spending time and energy in reviewing it. So they straight ahead can reject it. So explain the background, citing only the relevant literature. This is the first impression. So be careful about it. One should describe the rationale for the investigation very clearly. What are the objectives? Now that becomes the reason why you have studied that particular part. And you need to generate a hypothesis which should align and match exactly with the preceding description. All right. So, whatever hypothesis is derived, it should be based on a rationally cited literature, available scientific evidence, or a lack of scientific evidence, whatever is the case, and based on a carefully funneled description and a carefully cited literature and a rationally hypothesized approach, only then you could have a meaningful manuscript. So it's always a good idea to at least keep the specific objectives handy, because these are the ones which almost all the journals would ask you to state clearly, state the specific objectives for the investigation. Now this is another of our manuscript where we included, I mean, the relevant literature. It was a very tricky concept, and well, this manuscript was regarding the extent to understand how objective is a subjective assessment, and that's an interesting paper, and we had to funnel the description, I mean, exactly based on that particular parameters. That means one has to rationally devise what could be the most important aspects which we were interested to study. And when you read this paper, you will find all these features clearly included in that in the introduction part. So thank you very much. We are thankful for your interest in the presentation. If you have any further queries or any points you would like to discuss even in much more detail and depth, don't shy away to write your comments, your questions to the email address given here, and I'll be happy to answer all of them. Thank you so much.